Alright. First video. Something for the pain. Eh? Bose. Forgot how to say her name, but she's back. Our girl's back. Single I was doing 24. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate the follow. Hi. Single I was doing dual PC because my laptop better than my PC, but now my PC won't run OBS. That's why I haven't been streaming for real. I'm just having technical difficulties. Okay. Well, congrats on your new graphics card, Kira. I think that's super exciting. I love gadget stuff and getting new shit, especially when it's going towards like something that you love to do, like for example streaming, getting like new like equipment. It makes it like more exciting to stream for sure. So that's super cool. When does it get here? I don't know if I want my chips to taste like actual barbecue, not gonna lie. Yeah, I pretty much skip on the barbecue chips. Like I'll revisit the Lay's ones, because I do like Lay's a lot. But next week? Ooh, okay. Poom, thank you for the lurk. Enjoy Minecraft. I can't wait to upgrade my shit here. I'm super excited. I'm going to upgrade everything. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might give me a new chair. I wasn't gonna give me a new chair. I was gonna say, fuck it. Who needs it? I can still rock in this bitch. It still rolls. You know? It doesn't smell. But, shit not comfortable. You gonna love it? Yes, I am. Who said hot fries with Lucas earlier? That was JK. I sound like my mom hype with her Scandal show. That's still like going on that show. That the chair had history? It do. Send me the old PC. You want the old PC? Why would you want that? It's ass. No, we are watching true crime. We are. Everyone shut up. Something for the pain. Sinister. Season 1, episode 5.
It's supposed to be the golden years of life. Posted up in a retirement home, making new friends, drinking diabetic-friendly shakes, hanging out with people, playing bingo, getting tucked in by the nurses. It's supposed to be a time of relaxation. Retirement homes are supposed to be like sanctuaries. They allow the residents to find peace, new hobbies, new friends.
That fasting chair like Jay's? I ain't seen Jay's chair yet. What the fuck? I gotta go look at it. What's up, D1? Welcome in. Did you watch the VOD yesterday?
And sometimes even new love interests. In fact, people find love in retirement homes quite often.
JK said I'm black as fuck. Oh my god, you think she's pretty, best man? Who the Brax. Hi. Damn. Chips was good. Just lost my appetite. SoCal and Texas, that's more Mexican than me.
Sometimes
okay. I'm not looking at y'all.
Relaxation. Retirement homes are supposed to be like sanctuaries.
What do you mean the VOD from yesterday is not up? Yes, it is. I literally, like, what? Before I went to the kitchen, I promised you I released the VOD. Literally because of you too. Literally. Hold on. All we have is cranberry juice and water. Water. What? Why does Cliff have his hood on indoors? That question is for you, sir. Cause he was on camera. Wait, you're streaming right now? Bro, they know what you look like. Wow, wow. That's crazy that it wasn't published. I'm so sorry. I knew for sure I just hit it again and it didn't work. What the hell? No, thank you. I'm eating this right now. You're a bomb. Okay, I will. W Cliff. Cranberry juice and water. Old ass household. Shut up, Brax. Leave us alone. We also have Ollie Pops in there. Natty said, Cliff, you not slick. He started laughing. What y'all talking about? I told you that shit not posting. That's how I lost my streak. Natty, Cliff said quit looking at the screen and shit. Okay, it should be there. Honestly, it's too late now, obviously, D1. But it's there now if you want to watch yesterday's VOD. Motherfucker need to be streaming 20 minutes ago? Bro. That was poo. That was poo. Tell his ass poo. Tell him again.
What you doing over here, man? What you...
Hold on. Wait, this whole time you wasn't driving, Diego? What were you doing? You was just in the car chilling? You was smoking? Chiefing? Big West, what's the deal? Well, I got a wife of my own. I just a girlfriend. Wait, investment, what? Brax, you need help sometimes? Brax needs help all the time. Been a little minute, I know. You still on your diet? Okay, I'm gonna watch the VOD later. Okay, bet. It's there now, for sure, for sure. For sure now it's there. Okay. Yeah, you are? Wait, I remember you doing like no sweets or something. You're still doing no sweets? Day 370? No, what? That's over a year. No fast food or sweets. How you feeling? Your body gotta feel good. It has to. Man, what I'm posting to look at. It was funny, Natty. I was watching Talks and Shorts waiting for traffic to die. Oh, okay. I feel that. Talks is a good time passer. Okay, Diago, wherever you're going now, get there safe, okay? Why is everyone so rude to me? I'm such a friendly guy. Brax. Who are you fooling? 2CS, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Anything with the drive-through, can't do that no more. I feel amazing. Nah, that's fine. Amazing is a great word to use. Yeah, bro, you're not putting no as I'm eating these fucking chips. Not putting bash in your body. That's good.
A few moments later.
You're right, Regine. I'm sorry. Why you say churros? Is block in here? Did block come in here? Why are we saying churros in here? Chips is cool. Oh, you fuck with chips? Okay, cool. You shouldn't be eating chips either, though. The rule was no fast food restaurants. Okay, and then sweets like chocolate and shit. Nah, that's fire. Now, like, do you ever crave it? You know what I mean? Or is it like now it's kind of like you don't even crave fast food shit no more? You like just all like home cooked meals. No, that's fire though, Wes. It's good to see you, Wes. You didn't even care for it? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because it's already been like over a year. I think it takes like what, 21 days or something to create a habit, something like that. I miss Zaxby's, but I don't miss the headaches. What? It was giving you headaches? Oh shit. I've heard about Zaxby's. I've never had it before. We don't have one out here. You miss Zaxby's too? But it's okay. Yeah, but they were bad. Yeah, they're giving you headaches and shit. What you doing in here, G? Don't. Okay. I do not let him crash on the couch here from time to time. He's lying. I don't know this nigga, bruh. Germany got some nice places still. I remember you said that you liked the food when you first got out there. He said Zaxby's went downhill, Brax. Breaking news after true crime. Oh shit, okay. Hold on, my fault. Ugh.
Once you get...
You guys, tee up! Tee up! Something for the page, Sinister Season 1, Episode 5.
Into your mid-60s, it's supposed to be the golden years of life. Posted up in a retirement home, making new friends, drinking diabetic-friendly shakes, hanging out with people, playing bingo, getting tucked in by the nurses. It's supposed to be a time of relaxation. Retirement homes are supposed to be like
Locked in? Okay, good. Me too.
They allow the residents to find peace, new hobbies, new friends, and sometimes even new love interests. In fact, people find love in retirement homes quite often. There's also something really beautiful about falling in love again late in life. Movies and TV condition us to think that there's one big love out there, one true love, and once we lose it, it's all over. We'll never ever find that again. But when older people are able to find love in later life or in retirement homes, it just goes to show how big the capacity for love the human heart has. It can be really emotional, you know, feeling like you're able to fully and truly love all over again. And it also combats that fear of loneliness if you're no longer with your spouse. And look, I know, you're like, Bose, I thought this was sinister. Why are we talking about love in retirement homes? Well, because love always has a honeymoon stage. But when that honeymoon phase ends, everything starts to come out. Another thing that's really interesting about finding love so late in life is when somebody is 70 or 80 years old, you don't know how dark their past is. They have a lot of past. You don't know how angry, spiteful, or unhinged they really are. And unfortunately, Lena Driskell's boyfriend is about to find out just how delusional she is.
What? That's a crazy perspective to think about. And when you get someone and you're older like that, they definitely have a crazy past that you probably don't even know about. Not oh, Lena, you know her? Not you know her, but you know of her? I've never seen this one before.
This case has been burned into my brain for over 10 years. I still can't believe it. Like, anytime somebody that's elderly murders someone, it always boggles my brain because I'm like, did they always have it in them? Did they, like, what? I have dug so deep to understand what happened in this case and why. And I think I have not only an interesting story to tell you, but some very interesting pieces of the puzzle that we were able to put together by looking at old newspapers and the census. Lena Mae Driskell was born in 1927.
I was like, no, I'm not you seeing this one.
In Georgia. Her husband was about 6 years older than her, and his name was Louis J. Driskell. So they're born in the early 1920s, and
damn.
Look, they lived kind of not extraordinary lives. Lena was actually pregnant and had her son, her only son, when she was 15 years old.
In the 1920s.
And it was Louis's baby. But they, did the right thing to do in the 40s and 50s. They got married and they stayed together to raise their son. Now, Lena would kind of in and out have housekeeping jobs. This wasn't something she was overly passionate about. It was just kind of like a job. And her husband was a machine worker at a publishing house. So most likely like a newspaper or...
Now, chat, I just want... Now, that's old. Okay. Y'all be treating me like I'm born in the 1920s when I wasn't. I was born in the 90s. That's like 70 years or some shit like that. No, they're not. I knew someone was going to say, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Galaxy,
magazine, something of that
nature.
You're not
around my age.
So Louis always had pretty consistent work.
That's so crazy, bro.
Lena,
that's how y'all treat me, though. That's how y'all treat me.
From like, the 40s to the 50s or 60s, she was just kind of like cleaning houses and staying home sometimes, being with her son. And
pregnant at 15, isn't that middle school? I think that's high school.
Trying to make it.
Still a kid, though.
Like I said, it wasn't extraordinary. They didn't have massive ambitions. And if they did, they really didn't know how to attain
why you say it like that?
So they lived their lives day in and day out, just working and taking care of their son. After a while of Louis trying...
Babe 42!
MariVizzle.
Variable, thank you so much for the 42 months. Go fucking crazy.
I need to support the family as a whole.
Hi, Variable. 42 months is insane in a row.
She was certified.
I be noticing y'all when y'all be having that shit in a row. Just so you guys know, I see that.
She did that for maybe roughly a decade or so, but she would eventually retire from that position. So
yeah, I know
she
wrong.
worked that right up until
Delivery
she could get out and
though.
retire. Lena... She kind of just liked to keep to herself. She didn't have like a lot of family that she stayed in touch with. She really didn't have any friends. It was just her, Lewis, and their son. Now, their son, Eddie, according to the census, he got out pretty much as soon as he could. He got out of the house. He didn't want to stay with his
Thank you for the
parents.
leg,
So
Thank you.
it was just Lena and Lewis for many, many, many years. Their relationship wasn't the healthiest because when you're kind of just codependent, sitting with your partner day in and day out, it's going to go one of two ways. Either you guys love each other to hell and back and you're best friends and you love being together constantly, or you're kind of like bickering and just dealing with each other, but you don't want to leave because it's so comfortable. And that's kind of how Lena and her husband were. Now, even though they didn't have a lot of money, they didn't have big dreams and goals and travel the world together or have more kids or anything like that. I mean, they had a kid when Lena was 15 and they said, no more. We're just gonna live our life like this. They spent all of their time together. So even if it wasn't the most picture perfect, healthy relationship, there was two things about this relationship. It was consistent and it was loyal. Lena and Lewis were incredibly loyal to each other. Doesn't matter if they were bickering. Doesn't matter if they didn't talk to a lot of family or friends. They always had each other. And this was the life that Lena was familiar with since she was a teenager. It was just her and Lewis. And she loved him. She loved him so dearly. And he loved her. Now, this is important because in 1975, when Lena was 54 years old, Lewis passed away. Grief is serious when it comes to the loss of a spouse. On one hand, if it's abrupt and you lose the most important, most consistent person in your life out of nowhere, it can be impossible to process. Quite frankly, it is impossible to process. Grief is a monster. But also, you know, if you see your significant other pass away slowly, you know, as a spouse, you generally feel like you have to be strong for them through it all. And then once they're gone, it's devastating. It's empty.
I was like, how do you
confusing.
live? Right.
And that's exactly what happened to Lena. After over 30 years of being with this man and knowing nothing but being by his side, he was gone and she was alone. This is
crazy.
also part of the reason why Lena, who wasn't too consistent with work before, just kind of fully dove into being the medical assistant. It gave her something to do. It gave her some normalcy. It gave her the 9 to 5. It gave her a community that she would go to. And she was very socially awkward, very socially awkward. Didn't really know anybody, but it gave her consistency.
Lena
would go home.
Her. Okay, so the lady that she's talking about is Lena. This girl's name is Boze. Boze Vestman. She streams. Doku, hi again. So your brain was fully developed and you made the conscious decision to start eating chitlins? The J, you don't want you don't wait, what?
Back to the house that she lived in
what?
with her husband for many years. It was quiet. It was dark. And it was lonely. The only person she really spoke to was her son, Eddie. Now, Lena never had any therapy for the loss of her husband. I mean, nobody could get therapy in the 70s or 80s. In fact, it was kind of frowned upon. People thought that if you were getting help for something, that something must be wrong with you. But in reality, I'm personally of the opinion that grief is something that we absolutely cannot walk through alone, especially when it's a spouse or somebody that
booty noodles,
you know for a long time.
ew. Oh, why are you cooking them like that?
And then
Hi,
in 1992, Lena was dealt another blow of grief that was unfathomable. Her son, Eddie, also died at the age of 50. No parent ever wants to have to go to their child's funeral. At this point, in 1992,
Damn, she lost her soulmate and then her son. That's crazy.
Lena
B as in boy, O-Z-E. Vestman.
Driskell was completely alone. And when you're alone
B-O-Z-E.
for this long and you don't have anybody to lean on, you can sometimes start to deal with grief.
I don't know her Twitch,
in
though.
kind
I
of
forgot
strange ways. It can manifest differently for everybody. Lena kind of lost her grip on reality, but she kept that to herself. It was very private. A decade after Eddie passed away, Lena was retired and living on her own was really
Bless
kind of
you
a
too,
lot.
Lot. It's good
She
to
didn't
see
need
you.
a whole lot of assistance, but she couldn't be in the house by herself anymore. So she moved to a place called Hightower Manor Complex. It was on Martin Luther King Drive in Atlanta.
Ben Broke
She
before.
moved there in the
Thank you
early
so much for the
2000s.
follow, Ben Broke.
Adjusting to the retirement home was a little bit confusing for her. She was now around people 24/7 and there were all these activities, but she just wasn't super well socialized. You know, she'd been alone for a very long time, and because of that, she was very secretive. She was very,
Hi,
very
Moosey.
private, and she didn't talk that much. I mean, sure, she could interact, but Lena wasn't the type of person to make the first move. It's very difficult, almost impossible, to just grow social skills once you get to a certain age. I have terrible social anxiety, and I'm in my 30s, and I don't even know where to start. So imagine Lena being in her 70s and not really knowing how to talk to people and not really being familiar with being able to interact with this many people freely. But there was one thing that she was very familiar with, and that was being in the company of a man. So when Herman Winslow Sr. walked up to her, Herman was very charismatic. She was completely starry-eyed. Herman had no problem introducing himself, talking to Lena, talking to other people around the community. He was very, very, very sociable. And sometimes when we see traits that we don't have ourselves, we're just so magnetically attracted to this person. And also, look, Herman was giving her attention. He was cute. And she missed that. She missed having a partner.
Herman was making that pong pong weight. Her Twitch is Boss. Thank you, Galaxy. Boss versus the World. She mainly streams on Monday. There goes her Twitch right there, Vestman. No way she looks that young at 30. Kid. It was something in our water. Something in the 90s water. I don't know what it was, but we're drinking out of the same fountain.
She missed being...
Was Herman not old and wrinkly? Yeah, he probably was, but she was old and wrinkly too.
With
so they was both
somebody
old and
that
wrinkly.
loved
It's
her.
okay.
It was a
matched.
feeling that she missed, and it was a
It matched.
feeling that she was willing to open up a little bit socially for. So when Herman starts putting the moves...
Ba from chat? Wait, what? Ba from chat? JK, what did you say? You said something wild.
on Lena, she is so responsive. The other thing is Herman was very persistent with Lena. I think he probably would have liked that.
No, we're not talking about Ba from chat.
She was a little shy and he was kind of in control of the situation, and he could just say a few things about how she looked, like, walking out, hey, pretty lady, and she would just melt. She would just melt to the floor. And I get it. I get it. Sometimes when somebody's partner dies, it can feel like a betrayal to be with somebody else again. It can be very, very difficult, and they might want to stay loyal to their previous partner that has passed away. But she had been alone for so long, and Herman was nice. He was sweet, and she was ready for love again. Herman was married to a woman named Beulah Winslow.
Okay, so you're married to somebody, right, Chad? You've been married with them for like 50 years, and then they die. Do you get with somebody else, or do you be like, no, this dick was for her only type shit? She said the first thing that came to mind. I'm trying to stop. She said the first thing that came to mind. Wait, what? I want to open up your messages so bad. So bad. She Blasian? I don't know what her ethnicity is. I'm not sure. She look like it, though. Same for your ex getting pregnant by a new nigga in a way. Huh? Depends how old you are. You're 60, 70. So you guys got together when you were like 20. 50 years went by, and now it's like, now what? What you doing? When the cobwebs start building up, gotta knock them down. Hi, 6 Eyes. What's up? I don't think she's thinking about digging her 70s. What? How can you not think about dick in your 70s? Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like when you get 70, like, you don't stop thinking about dick, I feel like it's like if anything, it's like, oh, no, I don't want to say that. That's crazy. That's a crazy digital footprint. Someone's gonna clip that. But I'm just gonna say that I don't think that you just stop thinking about sex when you get old. I'm pretty sure there's some grandmas out there that like to fuck still. If you're born lonely, yeah. If you're not, then no. 70s with that bad hip is crazy work. There's multiple ways you can do it. Are we allowed to feel away if broken up? I'm not sure. Yeah, you definitely allowed to feel away for sure. Wagwan chat. 6 I said Wagwan chat. I have to experience it. I can't say it. That's a valid answer, Raging. I like that answer. But luck. Oh my god. I would think they'd be thinking about the grandkids and legacy and shit like the shuffleboard and shit, you know? I don't know. Cause like you think about that and then what do you think about after, you know? Obviously, Dick. Obviously. Starkey7, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate the follow.
And
Why the fuck out of here?
Beulah had 11 children.
Whoever won fight one of these freak ass grandmas, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure they have a website for it. If you Google freak ass grandmas that are DTF in my city, I guarantee you something's gonna pop up. Google it and let me know what you find.
In their time together, they
Age
had
just a number?
5 sons and 6 daughters. They were busy. Now,
Guys,
and also
beyond that,
remember,
I'm
these people were born in
saying.
like the 1920s.
You just don't get horny after because I'm 50 or 60 years old. Am I gonna be a freaked out senior? I might be. No, I'm just like.
1930s, so it was common to have a
No, I
lot
would like
of
to think I would be
children.
though, for real.
But
I do.
I'm not gonna lie, I was
I might
pretty
be.
surprised when I read that. Herman himself was a widow because Beulah actually passed away in 2003. They lived together at the retirement home. When they retired together, and they had their little room. The rooms in this complex were just a 1-bedroom, 1-bath configuration. So that's where Herman and Beulah were for quite a bit. But she
Exactly,
passed
Lou.
in
More time to-
2003, and unlike Lena,
Oh,
who
screen! Oh
waited
my God!
almost 30 years to find love again,
My fault. You guys, we're not paying attention. Hello? Are we paying attention? Are we paying
A
attention?
few moments later.
were just a 1-bedroom, 1-bath configuration. So that's where Herman and Beulah were for quite a bit. But she passed in 2003, and unlike Lena, who waited almost 30 years to find love again, Herman was ready just a year later. In fact, it was kind of well known around the retirement home that he was a flirt. He had a few ladies around the retirement home that he did not hesitate to say hello to every morning.
That's crazy.
Just a few months after Beulah's passed.
Look at her. Hey, Diago, look at Herman. This nigga was definitely a thotty. I feel like at some point we too old for sex. Diago, you don't know that because you're not old yet. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like when you get older, you're still going to want to get your meat wet here and there. You know what I mean? I repeat, Marty, the cootie needed to be coot and Nana needed that facts. They not. No, I'm listening. Are you? For guys, we go as far maybe 90. I could be wrong. God damn, 90 is crazy. Block, I see the stretch. I got you. Okay, let me get through this video first. My nigga Herman, crazy.
Got together in late 2004. So at this point, Lena and Herman are together in the retirement home. They are a full-blown couple.
They do.
You know, I'm just picturing them playing bingo together, going out into the garden together.
I don't know what Diago's talking about,
There was something sweet about this time because Lena was in love again and she wasn't alone anymore. And Herman was very, very sweet to her. Even though you might think he was kind of a playboy around the retirement home, he really did love Lena. They even shared a bank account.
Oh, wait, hold on. It just came to me. Lena is going to kill Herman because Lena's big on loyalty and Herman's a flirt. So she's going to kill Herman or kill one of Herman's hoes. This is what I'm thinking in my mind right now. I don't know. What y'all thinking? Now I think about it, there's no way Lena killed Herman if she ain't fuck him. No, she might. I want to see world sights. Fuck my old lady. Yo. That's
Dean's
crazy.
granddaughter would later talk about the relationship and say she was just so...
Y'all not on game. The old folks be on that. Swingers, Chase, Krugers, all of them. I'm saying they be on that. Like Cher getting taken down right now, but I one guy. Don't think she's not. Marty Holmes?
happy. She would
I know,
show
huh?
them.
I know, huh? I'm saying they old as hell. If she kills him, that means he definitely be. Oh, okay. I'm saying they old as hell. If she did kill him, that means he definitely be fucking facts.
Photos
Something
of
was
them
going on.
together.
Okay, let's
She
see, let's
would
see.
talk about everything she loved about him. She said that they were probably going to get married. Now, this didn't come from Herman's mouth, but the way that she was talking about it, Lena's granddaughter assumed like, oh yeah, let's just prepare for grandma to be married again. And they were happy. She
Yeah, we
deserved
talking 70.
it.
We
She
talking
hadn't
70
seen
lot.
her like this before. During the first year of their relationship, they talked about traveling a lot together, and that's why they had the bank account. The bank account was originally kind of their travel fund together so they could go somewhere. And in the summer of 2005, they finally took a trip together to Daytona Beach. Once again, this was a really sweet time because when you're in your 70s, you don't expect to fall in love again. And you also don't expect to start traveling the world, or at least the country, with your new partner. Like, sure, they were in Atlanta, Georgia, and they were just going south to Florida. But for them, this meant sunny beaches, the relaxing in a chair, just soaking up the sun, hearing the sounds of the water. It was just a few days for them to visit Daytona, but Lena was really, really excited about it, and Herman was too. But this trip was not as peaceful as they intended it to be. Something happened on the trip. Something that just completely turned Herman off. Lena started
Herman
to
off.
suspect that he was talking to other women in the retirement home. And not just him,
There it
getting
goes.
up in the morning and saying, hi to Shirley when he went to get his orange juice. She thought that Herman was like seeing multiple other women in the retirement home. Also, I hate to break this to you, but I have to tell you, people in retirement homes are very sexually active. So
They thinking about that poom poom, Diago. I know you heard it. They thinking about that poom poom. And what that meat like. Cause I'm not gonna lie, once you get to a certain age, what else is there to do? What else is there to do for real, you know what I'm saying? How you knew that though? I don't know actually, to be honest. I don't know how I knew that, to be honest. I don't. Cause I'm not there yet. But I just figured like, I just know we're sexual beings, and who doesn't like sex? If I say right now who don't like sex in my chat, ain't no one gonna say I, Unless you're a virgin and you don't know anything about sex. That's different. She's driving at 80 years old, at 70, ain't getting married. Not for real. Elders need to be planting trees, not planting seeds. Ray just said, I don't judge. Let the old do what the old do. You feel me? Let them. They've been out here long enough in this world. I ain't trying to picture that. I don't want to see it either, but the nurse to be active, not the old people, not the old people too, Lord. The old people too. Oh yeah, I been knew that. Old fucks be getting down. That's funny. He said me? Who said me? I'm asexual. What's asexual again? I forgot. I know y'all told me about that, but I can't remember what that means. I swear niggas be making up words. There's some scandalous, freakonomical dude is slinging jerky in the home. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Slinging jerky, like, why?
So if you thought
Slinging
that
jerky?
Lena and Herman were just like sharing like scoops of sugar-free ice cream to each other, no, they weren't. They were hooking up. And
They were
Lena
hooking
thought
up.
that Herman was hooking up with other girls in the retirement home.
Sheesh.
So Herman had actually given her the key to his apartment prior to this because he was like, look, baby, you can come in whenever you want. I'm not cheating on you. I'm not. I love you and I want to be with you. But Lena just wasn't buying it. And when they were on this trip in Daytona Beach, she really started to push the issue. Now, this
Lena, don't push. Lena, chill. Big Bear 7, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate the follow. Herman was getting active.
It's strange because they're not even in the retirement home. Nothing has happened. It's not like she walked downstairs and Herman was flirting with somebody there. She just
made it
kind
up.
of concocted this and started pushing the issue while they were on vacation. These
that's so
two
bad.
did not have cell phones.
That's not a good thing.
These two were not on Instagram. They were not on Facebook. She didn't see him liking any photos or anything. She just kind of came up with this
Yo, did
idea.
you see?
And usually
Hi.
when that happens, it's bred from insecurity, feeling like there's no way you like.
Block said dried meat, Marty. Dried meat. Like I said, I feel like there are so many philanthropic things that I could be doing with my time in my old age because I'm mentally built like an inventor. Like I want to see things be created in this world. And in my own age, I'm pretty certain that I'm going to be wanting to pass the torch and flame of other great ideas into the stratosphere. Yes, I do think that's true, Thiago. However, you're also going to need a release. You know what I mean? And who's gonna release you? You know what I mean? Who's gonna do it? It's gonna have to be somebody. It's gonna have to be somebody. Cause out all of that right there in the mind, you need something to like you know what I'm saying? I will Simba. No, you won't. Simba. Wait, are we talking about Simba? Wait. I think the timing on there was crazy. If not, I'm not gonna lie, I might have to do it to you. I might have to do it to you.
Like me. There's no way. There's no way that I'm good enough. Especially when our partner starts to seem too good to be true, to us at least, we start to get confused. Like, I can't be the only one.
I've never seen a heart attack off no pussy. Oh my gosh, your heart beats strong enough, Thiago. Give yourself a chance. She's just mad because granddaddy's a pimp.
It's gotta be more. I'm not good enough for you to
free him from jail? Oh, okay. I'm my fault. I thought we were talking about something else. I was talking about something else. We were talking about something else at the same time. That's how we ended up here.
And it can come from a deep-rooted insecurity.
That's how we ended up here. My fault.
I grapple with self-esteem. It was quite bad in my 20s. I still ask my boyfriend all the time, do you even like me? Okay. If you hate yourself, there is no way you're going to believe that someone else can love you. You will force them to prove their love for you at every single pang of insecurity. And it could come from anywhere. Lena and Herman could have been at a nice restaurant on the beach, and the waitress could have been young and pretty, and he could have flashed a smile at her, and she would have just tanked, okay? She would have tanked. Now, here's the part of Lena Driskell that is probably fairly relatable to some people. Now, we don't know exactly what happened, but he would later talk about this with his family. And apparently, Lena was relentless. She had decided that he was cheating on her. He didn't like her, that he was just faking
Lena's
all of it.
tripping right now.
And
Hi, booty.
she wouldn't let it go. I mean, to the point that it actually scared him. And when he got back from Daytona, he broke up with her. Now, this is where things kind of start to shift. Now, like I said, that was the part where Lena was irrational, but honestly relatable to a lot of people. There's always the turning point in Sinister where somebody goes from a human that you might be able to understand and empathize to someone that's about to be cast out of society for their actions. I do think that based on Herman Winslow's background.
Hi, booty. Yes, this is a murder case. Welcome to True Crime Tuesdays. Lena bugging. She definitely bugging. For sure. That's what it sounds like right now. Timo, hi. Timo, welcome to the stream. Link this video so I can send it to my ex. Why you want to send it to your ex? Diego said, in old age, Shawty can give me top if I'm desperate for release, but I ain't pumping shit.
And what people said about him.
My heart rate when she in the day one is a no. That is so funny.
He was a little flirty. And oh my gosh. Maybe after Lena went pretty nuts on the Daytona trip, he very well might have said,
by the way, meat wet still counts.
Screw this.
It still counts.
I'm going to go find somebody else in the retirement home. And honestly, that might hurt a lot to Lena, but it's well within his right. Also, if you think that somebody's cheating on you, then leave. You deserve somebody that is going to respect you and respect the relationship. And so if you really, really, really think that somebody's cheating, fighting for it is not the answer. Fighting for it is not in line with respecting yourself. The information that I'm about to give you comes from the prosecution of the court trial. I'm going to use that to fill in some of the gaps. DDC. When Lena Driskell and Herman Winslow returned from their trip on June 6th, 2005, she starts terrorizing this man. He had broken up with her and she couldn't take the rejection. That's what also makes me feel like this wasn't just all about cheating. This was about her, right? It was about feeling this insecurity, feeling this rejection, feeling this abandonment. And she just completely went off the deep end. She started following him around the retirement home and just arguing with him, just messing with him at every turn. Sometimes when people do this, it can be trying to be like, prove I'm unlovable. Say it to me. Reject me. Cause the pain to me that I think that I deserve.
Nah, he had Lena at her body, boy.
She also would show up unannounced in his apartment because she had the key. He was not safe anywhere in this.
Herman, you should have took your key back, bro. Hello? You should know this by now. You like 70, bro. Amy busted, no nothing, old age. I gotta keep all the energy we have left. That's what it's really about. I be hearing about stuff like that. I don't know if that's true though. Y'all want our energy so y'all live longer while we get slower, broken up after. What? That is not true. That is not why we want your energy. Hello? We just want to make you feel good type shit. Nah, he was dumb as fuck for that. Chat, are we gonna be toxic at that age? That's, you know what's crazy? When you get like, age really don't be meaning shit. Like, there's people that's older than me that be way more immature, like how they think and stuff. That shit is crazy. If they cheat and leave, facts, block. Exactly what she said. At this point, she didn't seem to care though. She definitely cared, I feel like. She definitely cared. Is this a real story? Yes, this is a real story. Yes.
Way that I've talked,
I think women live longer than men. Is that like some type of statistic or something? Just Shane, you're still awake. What the hell?
about Lena.
Thought you'd be asleep by now.
Through this the whole time, I really do feel like some of you guys are gonna be like, "Whoa, I would never do that." But there's a couple of you right now that are scratching your brows, saying, "Oh, I completely understand what she was doing. She couldn't handle it, and every rejection was escalating." Herman was terrified.
Lena,
he
get
was
it
not even
together.
safe in his own apartment, and he was afraid to take the key from her because he was scared of what she would do. I can't imagine if I sent my grandparent off to a retirement home to relax and, you know, spend the rest of his days there. And a year after grandma dies, now grandpa's getting terrorized by this random woman that's obsessed with him. Now, remember, he has several children and they cared about him. This is like a pretty scary situation because nobody knows this woman. So Lena starts to escalate to another one of the craziest pieces I think I have ever heard. So when following him around the retirement home and essentially breaking in late at night doesn't work, she starts to call Herman's phone and disguise her voice. She would call him up and say, "Hi, this is Lily. I saw you downstairs at breakfast and you're looking mighty fine." she would try to disguise her voice, and he would say, "I know it's you. I know it's you. But Lena, stop calling me. Like, please." Okay, this is the point where, do you know how absolutely delusional you have to be to think that you can call somebody you've been dating for a year and hide your voice, especially when you've been stalking them, and try to see if you can catch him
then he found him a
flirting
real one?
with another woman when he is
That's
now
what his ass
single.
gets. You know what's so funny, Diego? I was literally thinking about that. Not saying that he deserves to get like bodied or anything like that, or even deserves to get stalked or whatever. But he was over here talking to all these motherfuckers. Day, hi, Day, OMG. How are you? You know what's so crazy? You literally popped in my mind today while I was driving. Hey, girl. Welcome to True Crime Tuesday. We watching True Crime right now. Diego, I literally thought the same shit, though.
That's what she was doing. She's calling him. She's coming into his room. She's following him around the retirement home.
How are you? How you been?
He can't do anything. So finally, he tells the security guard,
"Oh, you like true crime too?" I'm not feeling bad for him as hoes. He was looking for a freak and
"Hey,
found it.
can
I don't feel bad for him
you stand
either.
outside my room? Can you do something? She has a key. I don't want to take it back because I'm scared, and she's harassing me." And so the security guards at the retirement home take note of this, but they're not really here to defend the elderly people from other elderly.
Awesome Adrian. Hey, I remember you. Hi, Awesome Adrian. Thank you for the follow. Old people arguing is the funniest thing, though. Why is that funny? Diego said, "I know Lena was putting it down on Herman sent her lips of Heaven's Gates." Not dead ass.
People,
for sure.
I mean, sure.
Her acting like that.
And maybe there's
1,000%.
a fight or two that breaks out between the older
1,000%.
people, but they're here to prevent, intruders or other issues, because this is supposed to be a safe space. They don't really take his concerns that seriously.
Adrian, hi.
Now, he made this
Welcome
complaint
back
to the guards on June 9th. And on June 10th, he decides to do the only thing that he thinks he can do to stay safe, which is just staying in the public areas. But also he was very, very social, so this is exactly where he wanted to be. Herman Winslow sat on the couch in the lobby at the Hightower Manor complex. There were several people around and a security guard.
Okay.
He figured he was safe. And he was relaxing and reading the newspaper. And then Lena comes downstairs. It's like she was getting ready for bed. It was later in the evening. So she had actually come down wearing a hairnet, her support stockings, a bathrobe, and slippers. She just, marched downstairs in this nightwear and then just came up to him and started yelling at him. And he didn't really...
I'm not gonna lie, Herman, you need to put your fucking foot down, buddy. You need to put your fucking foot down. McLovin, thank you for the follow. I appreciate the follow.
He didn't say much back. The security guard stepped in. And he tries to calm down Lena. But I think it probably frustrated her that now there was this third party in between them. But she actually already had a plan. Because inside of her bathrobe, in the pocket, was an antique handgun that she had had since the 1950s. And I can't believe this. This is a witness statement. 76-year-old Lena Driskell pushed the security guard aside and said out loud, "I got something for his ass," and walked up to Herman and shot him in the head 4 times in front of everybody. The other residents were almost unmoved. When the police came to the scene of the crime shortly after...
That's how she did it? That's how she did
Lena
it?
was still there in her bathrobe with her hairnet on, and other senior citizens in the lobby, as well as the security guard. It's almost like the old people were almost unfazed by it all. Who knows what they had seen in their life, but the security guard was the one that was shook.
Now you feel bad for him?
He was saying everything to the cops. He was like, "This is crazy." But the other person that was talking pretty freely to the cops was Lena. Because as soon as they showed up, she was still there with the gun in hand, and she said out loud, "I did it, and I do it again." I don't think that Lena enjoyed killing Herman. I think that she felt relief after that. So her saying that might have been a statement of, "I will do away with anything that is hurting me too much." Even though Lena was still holding the gun, her age had a big factor in this because the police kind of put their guns away, even though she had hers out, and they convinced her to slowly put it down. They arrested her that night. The moment she was arrested, the press went absolutely wild. It was actually a pretty big case because if you're anything like me, you can't imagine why somebody would kill someone when they're 70.
Flirting, and I think the feeling of like rejection too, like because he had broke up with her, so she probably didn't know how to handle that because she was in a relationship with somebody right before. Hi Jamarie, what's up? Said what she meant what she said, huh? She was not playing. Shane said, "What the fuck?" He ain't ready for the heat that comes with flirting with multiple women, especially if you ain't gonna let them all know about each other up front. Facts, Diago. I feel like that's the best way to do that, bro. Because like there's a lot of girls or even guys that don't really care about that, and they be like, "Okay, that's cool. Like you can do your thing, I can do my thing, then we can meet somewhere back in the middle." Trying to hide it and all that shit, it's crazy. I really feel like that's just extra work for one, and then 2, just don't do that. 4 times execution style is wild as fuck. No player deserves that. I know, that's so sad. It don't matter if we're young or old. Feelings are feelings. Exactly.
80 years old. It just sounds crazy. But I think maybe now that you know all of the pieces that led up to this, maybe it makes a little more sense. But when they got to court, they had to prove without a reasonable doubt that this 79-year-old woman was dangerous and had to be off of the streets. The prosecution painted a portrait of a woman that was enraged by the rejection. She was upset that her only year-long romance from her partner was ending and that he may have found another companion at the retirement home. I mean, the prosecution laid out pretty much everything I told you very matter-of-factly, but the defense team tried to say, listen,
male high, artist high.
Lena.
So what happened was she trying to get some and couldn't get it up. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak type stuff. Nah, they was together. And Herman he was a flirt or some shit. So she thought that he was flirting or seeing somebody else at the retirement home. And then he broke up with her because basically she was acting all crazy and shit. And then she was following him around the retirement home, yelling at him and all that stuff, just mad as fuck. And then she ended up shooting him
That's
4
not going
times
to hurt anybody
in the
again.
face.
In fact, she'd had this gun since 1957, and she'd never hurt anybody. This antique gun was just for protection. Also, her granddaughter, once again, Lena Holt, who was actually named after her, this is kind of the only person that I saw that ever really spoke up for Lena Driskell. She came out and she said, like, I have no idea how this happened. I don't know why my grandma did this. I never saw any of the signs, but like, we are very, very sorry. The newspaper reports said that Lena Holt was very teary when she talked about everything that happened. It wasn't cold and, please let my grandma out. She was upset. Once again, Lena's age played a really big role in all of this, and she was released on $25,000 bail and put on house arrest for murder.
What?
This enraged the family of Herman Winslow. A year later at the full trial, Lena would actually take the stand, and it would show just how far gone she was. Now, her team actually tried to do a temporary insanity plea, which if you followed true crime cases for a while, you probably know that's an incredibly difficult thing to prove. But once again, she's getting grace after grace for her age. I think this is really disappointing because Herman Winslow has an entire family that's looking for some kind of justice.
You trying to see Herman? Maybe they'll show him a picture.
Their grandpa. God, that makes me so upset. They trusted their grandpa to be safe at this retirement home. If anything, he might have had health issues, not be murdered. And here, the retirement home has failed him after he asked security for help. And now the courts are letting this lady off easy just because she's old. So prosecution and defense are going back and forth like usual. And then eventually, Lena takes a stand. Now, I don't know if this is what she was actually thinking or if the defense was pushing it further to try to get this insanity plea. But Lena took the stand and said that she knew shooting him was wrong, that she shouldn't have done that. But she claims that she was driven to the point because Herman was, quote, dating multiple women. Dozens of women. She claimed that multiple women were in and out of his room day and night. Now, we know this isn't true because over the couple of days that he was alive after the Daytona trip, she was just busting into his room whenever she wanted, and she never caught him with a lady. He was in bed in his boxers. She also expressed this bitterness towards him because she claims that she had sworn off of dating and that he really pursued her. So she just had a lot of blame and malice for him, even though he was now dead. She also says on the stand that he was having dates by the hour, and she also believed that he was involved in a sex ring. She told the jurors that she also believed that he was involved in a sex ring. She told the jurors that she finally just completely flipped a switch when they had come back and he stood her up for a barbecue date, and she claims that she can't remember anything after that. Everything just kind of went into a haze. The sex ring...
I don't know. I believe that he was definitely flirting and stuff for all, like the ladies or whatever, but I don't think he was doing all this other shit that she was saying.
Comment is absolutely...
I think she's making it up.
Insane. And the reason that I think her defense
team set her up
for it was because in their closing statements, they actually kind of tried to back this up by saying, no, Lena's delusion that her boyfriend was a geriatric gigolo, yes, they actually said that, is, just wild. So you guys should let her go because she's delusional. That's why I think that they fed her that line. But do I think that to an extent it was based in reality that she really believed that he was seeing all of these other women? Yes. And I think they just played into it and tried to really hype it up. The sex ring comment was just crazy. On the other hand, the prosecutors argued point blank period. Well, she just said on the stand that she knew what was wrong. So she cannot plead insanity. Pleading insanity basically implies that at the time of the murder that you did not know right from wrong. And in this scenario, we were here over a year later where she could have reflected, so it doesn't really count. Either way, they fought tooth and nail to try to convince the jurors not to confuse a jealous rage that was a little delusional with temporary insanity. Like, truly, it's so different. Some of y'all are delulu laying in bed at night. That does not excuse murder. Now, on June 3rd, 2006, just a year after the murders, the jury deliberated for 2 hours and they convicted her on all 4 counts.
Good.
Malice murder, felony murder,
Thought you were gonna get away
aggravated
with it,
assault,
chat? Oh
and
my
possession of a
gosh.
firearm. The judge sentenced her to life in prison plus 5 years. But as you know, that was not going to stop the defense from filing an appeal. 2 years later, her conviction was overturned and she was granted a new trial. Her new defense attorneys claimed that the previous ones just didn't do their job. This is the other part that I just hate because for the
That's
victims'
crazy.
families,
Like, hello?
you think that you hear guilty. You think that you hear life in prison and it's over. But it's really not. For Lena to be, you know, getting new attorneys and trying new things and trying to get out 2 years later is just absolutely devastating. Horace Winslow Jr., who was Herman's son, actually later said, "I'd like to see her come out of there in a hearse." He claims that he didn't have any animosity towards her, but he was still mad that she had killed his dad and no justice was being served. His anger was completely valid, but then one of the worst hits came. Lena was retried and then convicted of voluntary manslaughter with time served. That means that for the crime committed in 2005, she would be released in 2015. Lena Driskell's story is a reminder that jealousy is
crazy.
a powerful emotion, but it's also something that can be controlled if acknowledged. Lena didn't even try. She just let all of the jealousy, all of the insecurity, and all of the rage come to the surface.
She got released earlier still. She died February 12th, 2018 at the age of 90. She never returned to another retirement home. Oh, that's crazy. Nah, Lena was a crazy, she was a crazy bitch, I ain't gonna lie. Meanwhile, Herman might be in heaven, right. If my grandma caught a body and I'm rich,
Gino,
I would, but right now I don't know. So she fucked for now. Nah, that's crazy. So if your grandma caught a body and you rich, you gonna bail out? Even though she was in the wrong? I don't know, I'm not gonna lie. Grandma might have to stay there type shit. Grandma, you gonna have to stay there. You too damn old to be doing that shit. You knew that was wrong, Grandma. I ain't gonna hold you. I gotta leave her ass in there. She gotta learn. They might let her off anyway because she old as shit. Maybe. Block, are you still here or no? If you're not here, I'm not fun to stretch. But if you're here, I got you.